The afternoon falls on Kruger National Park in South Africa. The last rays of the day dye the highway running through the park golden. Many cars are still following each other, hurrying forward to reach the city on time. The trees in the distance cast shadows, creating a scene that is both majestic and quiet. Inside the fence protecting the reserve, wild animals are still leisurely looking for prey. The Kruger National Park management team has installed a solid fence. But occasionally there are holes somewhere due to the weather or wild animals biting. This situation causes many animals to sometimes escape and stray onto the highway. At that very moment, a small lion cub suddenly crawled through a hole in the fence, straying into the busy lane of vehicles. It seems that the lion cub is still not aware of the danger of this place. The vehicles are moving at high speed, so when they see the shadow of the lion, many drivers panic and brake suddenly. The sound of tires grinding on the road resounded loudly, creating a chaotic scene. The lion cub was still standing there, eyes wide open, staring blankly at the never-before-seen traffic. The loud honking sound echoed in his ears, making him startled and trembling. He crouched down in the middle of the road, confused by the loud noises and the constant flashing lights. A few drivers immediately called the police, fearing an unfortunate accident. As the seconds passed, the line of cars began to stagnate, as no one dared to approach the rare wild animal. After about 15 minutes, the sound of a police siren signaled that the hero of this situation had arrived. It was a police officer named Marius, in charge of patrolling the highway running through Kruger National Park. He stopped his car a short distance from the lion cub, got out of his car to assess the situation. Marius quickly signaled the surrounding drivers to turn off their horns and keep as quiet as possible. He knew that lions were very sensitive to loud sounds and were easily agitated or panicked. Seeing the cub trembling, Marius gently approached, keeping a safe distance. He spoke in a deep voice, talking to the lion as if he were coaxing a child. The cub glanced at him, its eyes showing confusion, but it did not growl or attack. Several curious drivers followed, secretly hoping that Marius' actions would have good results. Marius used the walkie-talkie to call the center, reporting that he had grasped the situation and asked for permission to handle it himself before the support team arrived. During that time, he kept his voice gentle, occasionally waving his hand to signal the cub to rest assured. As time passed, the cub gradually showed less fear, no longer cowering like at first. Marius took a step closer, kneeling down so as not to make the cub feel threatened. The little animal shivered slightly, sniffing the air around as if searching for the familiar traces of its mother. When he felt confident enough, the lion cub allowed Marius to move closer. Marius quietly held out his hand, so that the lion could smell and feel. The lion cub timidly sniffed, then blinked uncertainly. With his experience in dealing with wild animals, Marius knew he had to be patient and calm. He whispered soothing words, as if comforting a lost little creature. Under the pale sunlight at the end of the day, police officer Marius and the lion cub created a rare, heartwarming scene. A few minutes later, the lion cub slowly took a step forward, then came to Marius' side. Marius smiled, boldly reaching out to hug it gently. The lion cub rested its head on his hand, as if seeking a safe place to lean on. The entire line of cars paused for a moment, as if holding their breath at this touching scene. Marius gently picked up the lion cub, not forgetting to look around to see if the mother lion was nearby. Seeing no movement from the big lion, Marius decided to find a way to bring the lion cub to safety. He slowly walked towards the car, careful not to scare the lion cub. The drivers behind him were almost all patiently waiting, ready to cooperate to ensure the safety of both people and animals. Marius scanned both sides of the highway, trying to find the figure of the lioness. However, there was no sign of her. Perhaps the lioness had gone far beyond the fence. Marius gently placed the lion cub in the back seat of the police car. The little animal looked tired, its eyes half closed after the tense moments. The sky was starting to turn orange-red, signaling the approaching sunset. Time did not allow Marius to search at night, as the highway at night would be even more dangerous. He decided to take the lion cub to the police headquarters near the entrance to Kruger National Park. Before leaving, Marius informed the drivers that the situation was under control. The line of cars gradually moved, as if untying the traffic jam that had just occurred. The headlights turned on as Marius drove away from the scene. The lion cub whined all the way back, probably because it was worried and missed its mother. Marius spoke softly while driving, hoping that the lion cub would feel his safety. The police station was not spacious, but there was a large cage that was often used to temporarily hold lost wild animals. Marius parked the car and carefully lifted the lion out of the back seat. A few colleagues saw this strange scene and were all surprised. They quickly prepared some clean water and some suitable food for the lion cub. Marius gently placed it in the cage and covered it with an old blanket to keep it warm at night. Seeing that the lion cub was still shivering, he gently stroked it and whispered encouragement. After that, Marius went out and called the Kruger National Park management team to report the incident. They agreed to coordinate in finding the mother lion the next morning, because it was late at night and the search would be very difficult. That night, the lion cub fell into a fitful sleep in the cage, occasionally growling softly. Marius told his colleagues to take turns watching it so that he could bring it back to find its mother the next morning. The next morning, the first light of dawn illuminated the police station grounds. Marius woke up early and checked on the cub, finding it healthy, though its eyes were sad. He contacted Tabo, a dedicated wildlife rescuer at the reserve. Tabo drove over, carrying a tracking device and a first aid kit, in case the cub was injured. After exchanging greetings, Marius and Tabo discussed a route to find the mother. They determined that she might be hanging around the fence near where the cub had appeared. The journey began by returning to the exact spot where the cub had stepped onto the highway. From there, Tabo scanned the fence, looking for footprints and traces of the lion's scent. Marius continued to hold the cub, soothing it and letting it sniff around. After about 2 kilometers, they still saw no sign of the mother lion, but the route continued. Tabo noticed scratches on the fence, guessing that this was where the mother lion might have tried to sneak through. Finally, about 3 kilometers from the location where the lost lion cub was, they discovered a lioness walking back and forth by the fence. Tabo said to Marius, "This must be the mother lion cub. She is looking for her cub." Marius stopped the car, carefully observing the lioness to ensure safety. The mother lion looked worried, occasionally sniffing the ground as if searching for the scent of her cub. When the car stopped, Marius slowly got out, holding the lion cub in his arms. Tabo walked beside her, ready to support and keep the necessary distance. The lioness soon recognized the scent of her cub, wagged her tail, bared her fangs but did not roar fiercely. Marius put the lion cub on the ground, letting the mother and cub recognize each other. The lion cub immediately trotted towards its mother, making joyful sounds. The mother lion rushed over, rubbing her nose against the cub, clearly showing her joy of reunion. The moment the mother and cub hugged each other in the open space moved both Marius and Tabo. Knowing that the mother and cub were safe, Marius and Tabo retreated, returning them to nature. Before leaving, they contacted another conservation team to quickly repair the hole in the fence, preventing similar incidents. And from there, the story of the lost lion cub on the Kruger Highway and the help of police Marius and Tabo staff became a testament to the love of nature and valuable conservation efforts in South Africa. Dear friends, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.